going to have a look at a couple of basic exercises for stretching, and in particular I mean span stretching, which means stretching your hand that way, the width of your fingers, how far can you stretch them out, because it comes up all the time with my students and nobody likes doing exercises because they're really boring and they don't particularly sound good. But as with anything else, as well as learning the chords, the notes, the theory of music, we need to physically be capable of playing what we want to play, otherwise that's going to hold us back. So exercises are important, they are boring. I'm not saying I don't do them all the time because they're boring, but you need to be able to develop a certain level of physical agility, let's call it, to enable you to play what you want to play. So span stretching is how wide can we get our hand. It's not a competition. I'm not going to bring a ruler out and measure how wide your hand can go. It's about developing your muscles to be able to make playing in general easier for you and less painful. It shouldn't be painful at all. On that note, be careful when we're doing any kind of stretching or development exercises. Always make sure you're warmed up before trying the new exercise, whatever that entails, either by a basic warm-up exercises. I've done some on the channel before, I'll put a link in the description, just like your the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise, just to get your fingers moving, get the blood flowing, you know, get a little bit of work going on in your hands and a bit of coordination. Either do that or just play some of your favourite songs, maybe for 10-15 minutes before trying something that you find physically hard, because you don't want to injure yourself. Just like anything, if you're doing sports, you're not going to go straight into doing the splits or taking part in a competitive sport. You're going to do your warm-up and exercises first before you do that. So make sure we do that. Final thing, it's an exercise. It's not meant to sound brilliant and it's not a speed competition. So we do it at the pace that we're comfortable with, and with every bit of exercise and we're learning, we try and make sure that our notes sound clean and we've got the technique good and right. It's really not about how fast you play it, particularly on this one, because it doesn't matter. It's about the stretch, not the speed. So bear that in mind. If you want to have a look at these, we'll continue. I'll run through them just as I am. I'll have a look at, if I need to do a close-up, I'll do a close-up, but they're so simple, there's not really a lot to see. What I'm going to do is, to begin with, I'm just going to play 3 notes, but I'm going to be really selective about the fingers that I use to play them. Now, one thing with the guitar, you can tell by looking at it, even if you're not a guitar player, the frets on the guitar get narrower the further up the neck you go, and we're going to use that to our advantage, and we're going to use that for our practice and our training. So I'm going to start higher up on the neck because the stretch is going to be easier, and gradually as I get better and my hand gets more able to stretch, I can move further down the neck and continue challenging myself by doing that. I'm on the acoustic guitar, so there's a limit to how high I can get on here. If you're using electric, you can go further up the neck and the frets are really close together. So if you need to do that, but I'll start with the acoustic guitar just so that everyone knows it works on acoustic just the same as electric. So 3 notes that I'm going to play. Just to keep it simple to explain it, you probably might want to start a little bit higher up and make it easier for yourself. But I'm going to start on, I'll say, the 7th fret, and I'm going to use my index finger to play that note. Then I'm going to play the 9th fret, and I'm going to use my middle finger to play that note. And then the last note, I'm going to use my little finger to play the 11th fret. So I'm playing slightly out of hand position here because I'm not using one finger per fret, I'm skipping. So I'm using my index finger, my middle finger, and then my ring finger. And if you can see, I've got a fret in between each finger. So I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets using 3 fingers. Now, when I'm doing this, what's really important for the exercise is keep your first finger, your index finger on that starting fret at all times. The reason is this: if you don't do that and take that finger off, I'll do it. Sorry for the fluff. I'm moving my hand up, and it's kind of cheating in a way because I'm not stretching. I'm just moving my hand around to make it more comfortable. So by keeping my index finger on that fret, it forces me to do the stretch. So, and I can feel the difference, and you'll feel the difference. If that's impossible for you, as I say, if you've got the luxury of an electric guitar, play it higher up. I could play it higher up, and it's easier because they're closer together. But I'll do it there for now. So that's the crux of what we're going to be practicing. Again, don't force the issue. If you find it painful or you can't do all those fingers, just start with the first two notes, so your index and middle fingers, but keep a fret in between them. You can do that to begin with, and then as you get more used to it, you can have the little finger up there. Concentrate on making the notes clear, making them sound nice. If they're fluffing it, go back to your basics, back to your technique. Is my pressure right? Am I behind the fret correctly? All those things. It's totally not about speed. It's not about showing off, and it doesn't sound musically attractive. So this is just to get the hand moving. So that's the first exercise. The second exercise is very, very similar. The only thing that I'm going to change is on the middle note. I'm going to use, instead of my middle finger, I'm going to use my ring finger. So where in the first exercise I was going index, middle, little finger. I'm going to play the same three notes, but instead I'm going to change to index, ring, little finger. So I'm stretching out the gap between each finger set in two different exercises there, and you'll be able to feel the difference if you have a go at it. So that's giving you a really good, not just your overall stretch, but in between each fingers as well. Now, just finally to finish off with, because it's a really simple pattern and the ideas are really simple, hopefully you'll be able to pick this up in no time. The development of this would be to alternate those two exercises. So we'll play it through once using the index finger technique. So we're going to play the index finger, middle finger, little finger, and then on the second time round we'll alternate and we'll play index, ring, little finger, and change the middle finger that we're using each time. Obviously make sure you're familiar and comfortable with the first two exercises before stepping up to that one. I can't stress it enough, make sure your notes are nice and clean. The speed, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're playing as long as your notes are clean. That's the important thing. Don't rush into it, make sure you're not hurting yourself, warm up correctly, and if you get to the stage where you're comfortable playing those exercises, you want to challenge yourself more, as I mentioned earlier, what you can do is just move down one fret at a time. So start the same pattern, just one fret lower. To myself, that didn't feel that much different to me, because there's only a little difference in the width of the frets, but you are challenging yourself a little bit more. It's like adding a tiny little bit of extra weight when you go to the gym, or if you go jogging, just running extra, 100 meters or something. You're gradually building it up. You're not trying to rush into it until you can get further down the fretboard, by which time your stretching is going to be really good, and that'll enable you to be a lot more comfortable with the actual music stuff that sounds good that you want to play. So I hope that's helpful. If you need a close-up, drop me a comment or drop me a DM. I'll do it for you. But it's that simple, really. I think I've explained what you need to see. So enjoy.